So here we go with the first cast of today. It's the second round of the 1300 max bracket in it. And we have Tuurup versus ENSOO here. And playing in the purple and orange here. Cool colors of choice. Hope we'll be able to distinguish the orange here from the traditional Arabia desert color after all. And typical classic archers versus cavalry civilization matchup. And so is in the chat. Hello. Stopping by for your set. I like that. Glad you could make it. So, Franks for Tuurup here, always. I mean, they have such a strong win rate, 55% or so for Franks in the, overall Arabia 1v1 results almost regardless of civ they're up against. They have very few civs they lose to more often than they win against. So, a very strong land map civ, the Franks. Shouldn't mess around with Vietnamese either, though. They have very tanky archers. Their archery range units have 20% more hit points. So, and in skirmishers and archers are stronger Vietnamese. Oh, I can relate to this. A little bit of a lapse of attention in the board there. Good save to bring the boar back home, though, if the boar indeed goes back home here. Oh boy. That's a very unfortunate start for ENSOO. 2 villagers down to boar. In ENSOO's defense, there is 1 restart per best of 3, so I hope they know about this. Oh, you killed 1 villager of the... Yeah, that's right, the stats show that. I missed that. I was too preoccupied with the war. Okay, crisis averted. Okay, so going forward to kill a villager of the enemy, that takes some attention to focus and make sure that the scout doesn't get lost in the process. And if you do that while boar luring yourself, you risk situations like this where the villager starts to fight back instead of running towards the TC, and they go down. So, both players down some bills. They, they're 1 down, 1 bill, and 2 bills each here. Oh, hello, Dan. I got lucky with that timing then. Jordan had a ridiculous amount of gifted subs today, I heard, so he has had a good day at the job. Alright, so eventful Dark Age here between Tuurup and ENSOO. Tuurup losing 1 villager to ENSOO's scout, whereas ENSOO, in the meantime, lost 2 villagers to the boar while being occupied with the scout forward. Looks like we'll be seeing ENSOO's scout going down here. I mean, that scout has had some value. Did take... worth it. So the scout was already weakened from fighting the Vil earlier. And so gets another villager, so still no loom for Tuurup after losing the first Vil. I guess that's worth it for evening it out, even if it means losing the scout for the Vietnamese. And so knows about the Berries location here, so we'll have some way to know where to charge the first attack if ENSOO here goes for an infantry style opening, which by the looks of it is the case here. Barracks going up at 18 pop, which is essentially 20 here. But loom, good one to have. Second boar seem to have been brought in safely here. And some preemptive walling here to the front side. I like that. You know what to expect from Frank's fight. Scouts could be coming our way, so better start the walling sooner rather than later. As the war gets depleted, ENSOO goes to sheep to get the last bit of food needed to go up to the next age here. Did not collect any gold or go to gold yet, but feudal age now on the way at 19 pop. Not sure what ENSOO's plan is here, honestly. Being 2 villagers down like that, it's a bit peculiar. It could be a sort of a straight archer's build here, but actually after losing 2 villagers, you might want to extend a bit further. Tuurup, I mean, 19, fine. Tuurup is going up at 20 population here, so same population, but Tuurup will still have food left over to execute the plan of scouts here. I guess ENSOO got a little bit lucky with the map here being up against Franks, though. Should be a fairly easy wall up to secure all of the economy here. Lumber camp on the edge of the woodland there. It's decent, of course. I'd still like to see it bordering or being more in the middle of the woodland for maximum efficiency, but this is fine. It borders quite a few trees here. First scout of the Franks player is here to deny some walls potentially, but at the risk of losing some hit points doing so. So you don't want, if you're going for the scout rush, which I'm sure is the case for Tuurup here, then you don't want to risk too much hit points loss on your initial scout. Excuse me. So now only the left backside remaining for ENSOO to wall. Should wall towards the edge of the map, that's the plan here. Fuel edge is in, so spearmen are here to protect as well. That spear takes the long way around, but I think he's going over here to protect his walling villager. So, but again, an eventful dark age between these two players, both losing 2 vills, ENSOO to the forces of nature, and Tuurup to ENSOO's starting scout. So, good good job of ENSOO there to even out the numbers. Here comes the scouts of the Franks player. The spearman is out of position, unfortunately. Spearmen at that, there's 2 of them. But this woman, she is going to risk a dangerous fate here, trying to wall off and save the base for the rest of the citizens here. Third scout coming in. This is going to be some good value from Tuurup now. 3 villagers down. For ENSOO now total. Oh, but venturing dangerously close to the TC here. That's 1 scout almost down to TC fire. But the split, so... Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I need to learn a split hotkey. I think that was just so flashy move there to almost not take any damage from the TC fire. Villagers fight back, that's good. Here's the spearman to chase those weak scouts, but there should have been a spearman over here as well to protect this walling villager. She's trying to rush up these walls. Unfortunately, not going to happen in time as a couple more scouts and in. But the quick gates, though, to obstruct the scouts pathing there. Main objective of Tuurup here is to stop these walls from going up so the scouts can have extended damage output here. Another villager goes down, being chased by a spearman and a villager now, and finally ENSOO might be able to get the walls up. That villager loss early on has obstructed ENSOO's plans, though full spear depends on just now dropping the archery range. Whereas Tuurup has been untouched at home, just now starting the walling. And even drops the blacksmith now to prepare for the transition into the next age here. Is this the 1500 to 1800 bracket? Yes. Oh, it's not. It's 1300 max. And you missed, if you weren't here from the start, Elijah, you missed some beautiful Dark Age action here. Oh, is it 1300 to 1500? Sorry. And so, how could you mess up like this? In this bracket? Ah, just kidding. Titanic start. Did you use your restart though? Because those 2 villagers lost to war before 4 minutes. That's worthy of a restart in my opinion. You could restart Call the Re for any reason in my tournament before 4 minutes. No strings attached or whatever you say. Scouts are trying to get some more value here, but they will be running into walls now. Tuurup getting that wheelbarrow pending the Castle Age switch here, so we will have Franks Knights on the field soon. Oh, ouch! There's quite the gap between these players. And Tuurup seems to have been increasing since sign-up and is actually at 1567. That's quite the elo gap there for the 1300 max bracket. That said, though, it's been a while since sign-up, and you can't really fault players for having a somewhat natural development. 54% win rate, it's edgy, but if you're on win streak, it's still still not too worrying. So, but it happens to some of the players. We have more of the 1300 to 1500 players in the, or close to the 1600s as well. And it just, I mean, I've been checking the elos and developments and win rates and general number of games and stuff, just to be sure, try to avoid smurfs as best as possible. And I'm confident that most of the players aren't really trying to pool anyone. They've simply had some natural elo development since their sign up and since the sign up deadline. Hello, Beowulf. I've lost my last games, but I'm figuring how to get that elo back. Nice. You have some all-in shenanigans planned, and so. Scouts pounding away at the gates here, but 2 spearmen coming in to obstruct that. There should be at least 2 dead scouts here. Not that that matters too much for Tuurup here now. Well on the way to the castle age, as ENSOO is roughly 1.5 minutes behind here, but also... Actually, they're at the same villager count, so never mind. They're both at the same villager count and wheelbarrow. So the difference is negligible here. Overall resource setup though, and army count could be a worry here. And so at 3 military only, that's only spearmen for now. Could be thinking about pike and monk full on defense here or something. There's a nasty hill right here as well that could be used in favor of both players, but considering that Franks get cheaper castles, this would be a beautiful spot for a forward castle to eliminate any possibility for rat archers or some such from the Vietnamese player here. Franks first to the castle age, using that to their advantage by going into the multiple TCs here. One on the gold next to a woodland as well, so that's a good one. And even some preventive wall-offs here to make sure that the archers of the Vietnamese can't go too close here and use their range to obstruct the TC working here. TC on the woodland inside of the base as well. Still only one range for ENSOO, not currently producing. Also going into multiple TCs here, so playing that economy style here as well. Only one TC for now, maybe we'll see another one once the wood situation allows for it. Vietnamese actually save quite a bit of wood because their eco upgrades don't cost wood. See Bosa going in now, that costs only food for ENSOO. Quite useful when you're an archer civilization and need that wood for other stuff. All of the upgrades kicking in here, and pike defense it is. Great TC, by the way, it's bordering 2 woodlands and the gold here, so... this might be an issue for the palisade gates here. The knights, 6 of them down, they have +2 and even +1 attack on top of this. 9 knights total. And... for now, ENSOO doesn't see them coming, but surprise! 8 pikemen in the base for ENSOO though, or in the, where is the barracks? It's over here. Might be able to fend this off. +2 defense for the infantry. Good reaction to pull the villagers back towards the TC before the knights enter as well. That's going to, yeah, minimum losses here. Maybe a few more villagers down, and so losing 5 villagers total, but 2 of those were to boar after all. Yeah, players overall are improving a lot. There are lots of guides on YouTube by now by Hera and other players, right? That you could use to your advantage. Lots of idle eco time here now for ENSOO because of the knights running around inside of the base, but the pikeman defense should clear this up, and Tuurup will be losing a few of the initial knights here. More knights waiting at home though. Might want to go into something extra here to respond to the pikemen. Full on defense into 3 TCs here for ENSOO, who is currently 6 villagers behind though. Tuurup with somewhat consistent production behind all this, but not keeping all 3 TCs producing because of the Knights investment. It's tough in the early cast stage to have both 3 TCs and both stables producing. We're back on production and idling the stables for now. It seems like a better economic setup for ENSOO here, whatever the plan might be, because Tuurup is floating a lot of gold here and not really putting them into good use. You could always use that gold later though, but when you're floating this amount of gold, you might benefit from market as well. Another quick gator. Are we trapping the knights here? Obstructing the path a little bit here, so nice place for ENSOO here to kind of force the knights to delay their path a little bit, and so the pikes almost catch up here. Trying to pay a little bit attention to the villager count here. Frank's still keeping that lead, so has been good production from Tuurup here, all things considered. The pikes are doing work though, they're getting great value here. 5 pikemen just chasing these knights to keep the knight numbers of the Franks players low. Tuurup seems to have stabilized a little bit, has the market now, and has a little triangle around the TC here, just in case any archers would be coming that way. This hill is nice for Tuurup until the enemy can take any presence there with the ranged approach or whatnot. Monster going up now, going to heal up some of these knights by the looks of it. One of them is actually down to 4 HP, so you want to salvage that as best you can. And so, committing completely to pikes here now, but is on stone as well. Really wants a castle up, likely on this hill here to make sure that a Franks player can take advantage of that. Some houses going up here as well, probably going to go all the way towards the edge here to secure some territory, secure the golds, and woodlands here from knights to enter. Relics being collected as well, so that's also something for the later game. But Tuurup here with the Franks castles is not messing around here. That's going to be stopped by the pikes of ENSOO for now, and knights can't really do anything about that. Some quick walls could have saved these builders from completing it. This guy is actually inside the foundation building, which is kind of weird. I wonder if the pikes can engage at all against this guy. He's actually inside of the castle. Ah, it's fine. So the knights run in here. They roughly match the pikemen in numbers. But this castle shouldn't be going up anytime soon. The pikes are chasing them away again, focusing the villager now. More villagers to build. Tuurup really wants to deny stones and golds and woods and a TC here up and so, but it seems like a huge investment here at this stage in the game. Confident Franks play now. Tuurup can even afford another castle, which might go up. Who knows where? Other side maybe, and there's a hill here as well, so... But finally that's going to go up, and so with 5 pikemen only, that's not enough to contest both the knights and the villagers here. So Tuurup certainly taking some losses here, but is also still keeping that villager lead and now has fully upgraded Castle Age knights here. Another castle to deny the stone of ENSOO here. This is so... This is so Franks, and this castle, due to the bug, it could actually go inside of it. If this wasn't scouted by ENSOO, it could actually go inside of this castle as well. But ENSOO, with more builders and some quick houses here, might be able to get this castle up before the Franks one. Nah, it doesn't look too bright here. Frank's castle is going up, throwing axemen to join the fight as well, and they counter enemy pikemen. ENSOO actually with no military whatsoever here, but resources almost to go to Imp, so not spending the resources here means no more army on the field, and allowing Tuurup to get this castle up. This is petard time, I think. Don't make throwing axemen, make petards now. You could just petard this down. You're literally kissing the Vietnamese castle here. I think this is the thumbnail if this goes to YouTube. Well, the knights want to deal with the castle of their own. They still don't see any petards in queue here, and lots of villagers idling inside there for no reason. They're probably just waiting to drop their next castle, as ENSOO is going to Imp though. Wants to not petard, but trap this castle. None of them thinking of the petards by the looks of it here. Monk defense, that's good against small trickles on knights. That use university won't go up anytime soon. Crossbow on the way now for ENSOO, but no archers to benefit from that. And Tuurup doesn't like education, he doesn't want this university to go up. He probably had some bad memories from college or something. But the university goes up, and knights are still into raid, although they will fall subject to conversions here. So a little bit of a waste, that's considered, as ENSOO commits villagers to to try and take this Frank's castle down before Imperial Age, but with the range of the other castle here, those villagers are walking into certain death. Forgot sappers. Yeah, again though, just make some petards and this castle is down. You have the food and gold for it anyway. Ay, sending the workers into certain death here. At least the Imperial HTC should be staying up. These two knights can't do anything about that. And Tuurup is now with mainly throwing axemen here to contest the Vietnamese player, which is peculiar actually, because with the Imperial Age and potential for arbalists kicking in, ENSOO has the perfect answer to throwing axemen. They have are outranged by far by arbalists, so that's not going to work long term here. Imperial Age on the way for Tuurup as well, though, means that Cavalier might enter the field in addition to the throwing axemen here. 6 military to 25 here, Tuurup being in a raiding mood here, taking the gold back in here. And yeah, it could be an aim to go for some style points here with Frank's power here. Arbalists are on the way for Tuurup, no, for ENSOO I mean, while being raided by axemen left and right here. Imperial Age 15 seconds away. You see Tuurup picking some bonkies as well, the light cav on the way in, and GG is called 10 seconds before Tuurup reaches the next age here. What an eventful game though. I like this one. Let's take the stats here. That's how to deny opponents Imperial Age. Exactly. Resign before it kicks in. Just to look at the stats here, not that indifferent. More strong for the Franks, going for castle drop, throwing axemen for Arabia here. Uptimes roughly similar. They both lost villagers in the Dark Age, so actually no significant advantage here, other than that the Franks player was going for scouts, of course, and had an easier way to get to the army mass, I guess. More villagers of Franks as well, earlier castle age, earlier 3 TCs. And then not too much army to talk about here, just some castles up to border each other like this. Alright, let's bring up game number 2, which would be ENSOO's home map. ENSOO has gone with a map known from the current ranked 1v1 queue here. It is Atacama. And some strategic talk here in the meanwhile. Nice of the winner to provide some tips as to how to fight against Frankstall. Hello, Ardol. So what do we have here? We have Atacama, like those golden pit maps, kind of. All of the wood is in the middle, not all of it, but most of it. You see the small trickles of trees around here. They're not going to sustain you long term, obviously. So at some point you want to venture into the middle, drop some TCs, maybe even castles, and ideally deny wood of your opponent. So I like Japanese here actually for ENSOO, because men-at-arms for Japanese, they are already quite strong, they attack faster, and men-at-arms towers for Atacama is no joke, because you could actually easily deny wood of your opponent by forcing them to constantly go to new woodlines. I don't know if men-at-arms towers is the play here though, could also be men-at-arms archers or something completely different. But to have a ranged approach here certainly is useful when you want to try and deny wood of the opponent on Atacama. Tuurup with the Tatars though might have an infantry opening into archers in mind. Tatars get slumbering instantly in the Castle Age, so they are one of the more streamlined civilizations before to go into cavalry archers as well. Yeah, losing two boars in the two villagers in the Dark Age to boar is just really tough to get back from. Again, though, the players have a one restart per best of 3, which they can call before 4 minutes in game time. So, speaking of boars, Tuurup seems to have control here. He likes his cavalry civs, but we might see cavalry archers here from the Tatars. That's not something you're likely to see from Franks unless you are named Ogedai 1 or Umut Dennis and his 40 skirms. You never pressured him, that's true, ENSOO, but with the scouts hitting your base, at that point you also were forced on defensive. But at some point you could definitely have tried for a counterattack, because Tuurup was way later to the walls than you were. And if you force a reaction from him at home, then you have time to wall up your base after all, at home. Perks of being Japanese, their resource drop of points cost only 50 wood, not the regular 100, so it's easier to justify milling, even milling the deer if you want to. But I think ENSOO is pushing them in here. Yeah, for some extra food boost. It's very beneficial for the early game to have that. At least one deer pushed in for 140 extra food. Oh, that boar was far forward. Does find his way back home though. Well, it's actually a javelina. A little bit of decay for this one, but important to take in the boars, and pushing the deer as well would potentially boost the food. Actually, in the end, didn't push more than that one deer. That should be enough for a men-at-arms build though, as Tuurup enters here, tries to snag some sheep, but ENSOO reacts immediately. Does not garrison, however. Maybe not confident that the TC would hit the scout here, and doesn't want to risk the idle worker time. Tuurup looking for the core resources here, and has found the gold, has found the wood line, knows that the TC has to be around here, and will also confirm that ENSOO hasn't gone into the middle yet. Or not. So that's an early second lumber camp for Japanese here, but they only cost 50 wood, so still justified to take a little bit of middle presence as well. However, Tuurup is the one way up here with 20 pop. That has to be the scouts, I think. And so, seeing that both forward woodlands are being taken here, so that's something that could be easily pressured with both men-at-arms and archers and some towers here, depending. Fireworks coming up in time for feudal age by the looks of it. Tatars, of course, benefit from extra food from sheep as well. 50% more food from the herdables. That's always going to come in handy. Although slaughtering the next sheep there with 6 villagers total is going to cause more decay than you'd essentially want here. And so with the 22 pop here, should have the barracks up. Is it straight archers here though? That barracks is pretty late, and we're with 3 on gold, so no men-at-arms from the Japanese here, straight into the archers. Idle easy time here for both players, but ENSOO with roughly 20 seconds more than Tuurup here, who just reached the fuel age but has been queuing the scouts and hence forgetting that there's not food left for queuing villagers. Three scouts already on the field for Tuurup here. No spears added by ENSOO just yet, but quick walls in the range builder here, and one spearman is out. No quick walls for the time being, but also not really any hills nearby here for the Tatars to take advantage of for that extra damage output. Good pokes there from the spearman is going to get at least one scout there for free. And all things considered, even though ENSOO... No, actually, no villagers lost yet, so never mind. Couple of spears here to protect the woodline, and a rather awkward house there to keep the aggression out, which is going to render the lumberjacks a little bit inefficient here. Tuurup backs off actually, but I think he's going to loop around and try and hit berries of gold instead here. Here comes the blacksmith as well. Archer range producing archers. So with a mix of archers and spearmen here from ENSOO, should be a fairly easy task to take Tuurup off some of the woodlines here. There is the case of scouts roaming around in the home base here though. There goes first blood for Tuurup there, if you don't count the spearman. That's actually 4 villagers down for ENSOO already. 5th one going down, and the villager situation 29 to 24 here. That's some very, very good value for the scouts for the Tatars player, who is still left with 3 scouts and now adding some skirmishers to react to the Japanese straight archers play here. Good dodge. Jabates the spearman away there, but it's going to go for somewhere else instead. Maybe hit a villager on the berries here. Shouldn't be able to snipe it in time, but if you commit here and risk that damage from the spears, maybe you're good to go after all. And again, going for the gold here to obstruct the archer's production. No, just passing. Huh. These guys are getting a workout though. They've been running from one side to the other to try and catch these horsemen, but guy on foot shouldn't be able to run faster than these dudes on horse with a lance in their hands though. Are we seeing a counterattack here? That's just one archer moving forward. You killed 3 vills. Okay, yeah, that's good. Too focused on the scouts, but I see it here. There's 3 villagers down for Tuurup, so good counterattack. Colors are a bit confusing here as well. It's not that easy to follow. Second range for ENSOO now. There are skirms on the field though, so a response to the skirms will be needed as well. Spearmen won't quite cut it because the skirmishers have bonus damage against spearmen and pikemen and such. And so we'll be needing some scouts to enter the field to counter the spears. But scouts and spears at this stage in the game, when the opponent is going straight archers, that's actually a pretty ridiculous combo because And these skirmishers stop the archers from the engaging, and you could also send the scouts in between to obstruct the enemy archers' fire. The real, issue here is the villagers lost and the exposed woodlines here that Tuurup is constantly challenging. Though good counter raids from ENSOO to pick off some villagers and idle a bit on the enemy side as well. You can see the idle eco time for Tuurup here, but in the end it's no response to the skirmishers in time, and Tuurup already has 5 of them. That's almost as many as ENSOO has archers, so the low gap might have been a bit too high here between these two. That will be a 2-0 for Tuurup. GG though. Thanks for participating, ENSOO. It was a nice, eventful first game, especially. And well played indeed. I'm wondering why you didn't go men at arms with Japanese, though. That's one of their really strong plays. So that confused me a little bit. It could be just adaptation if the build order didn't quite work out, but I'm still seeing that as such strong because it would also semi-counter the scouts of the opponent if you did so. Smooth uptime though. Yeah, it's nice of Tuurup to show good sportsmanship and that you could have a little chat. That's always helpful to get some pointers from the higher rated players. I'm glad to hear that.